Hello everyone, it's Brandon here from the Pilot Stud channel, and today I am reviewing the Alouette Free, which is a new payware add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator on PC, made by a dev team by the name of Tags Hangar. Now, first off, just to give you a brief bit of history of this helicopter in real life, the Sud Aviation Alouette Free, or to be somewhat of a nerd, and to refer to them with their company designations, the SA316 or 219 depending on what variant it is a French light utility aircraft, and it first flew in 1959, with this helicopter being incredibly popular with over 2,000 units produced. It continues to be in active service to today, mostly in military roles. A highly capable helicopter, it suits a variety of multi-use roles, but to be honest with you, it is showing its age. It's probably older than most of us watching this video, and therefore retirement is quickly approaching for many of the active Alouettes. And although upon research I did find out that, quite incredibly, an Indian variant remains in production right now. That aside, the natural successor to the Alouette Free is the Airbus H160, and I believe the French Air Force or French Navy are replacing their Alouettes with that shortly. Anyway, back to the add-on. In Microsoft Flight Simulator, the Alouette Free is honestly superb. Now, I confess to not being the biggest fan of rotary wing aircraft. I work with them all the time in real life, but I do just prefer fixed wing. I just find them nicer to fly. But honestly, this is my favourite helicopter to date. It is a simple joy. The modelling is close to perfect. The sounds are brilliant. The cockpit is good, although I would say textures could be slightly improved. The flight model does provide a challenge, which I would imagine is true to life, as this helicopter is very old. Initially, the anti-torque pedals I did find were a bit weak, but this has been fixed with version 1.1, which is the most recent update, and they're now much more efficient and hopefully closer to real life. So if you like the sound of all of that, you can pick it up for £24 UK, 61 pence including UK tax, off flightsim.to right now. Now, I have been flying around with the Alouette for a few days now, and to be honest with you, it brings back some of the feelings I first got when Microsoft Flight Simulator was released. That sort of feeling of limitless adventure, and it really does feel like true flying. There is no autopilot here, and at times you will feel like you're battling with the helicopter, but for that, it is great fun. As well as that, to my knowledge, it is the first taxiable, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but basically you can taxi this helicopter around as if it was a conventional fixed wing aircraft. Although it does take a bit of practice to get used to that, I admit. Now, let's break down some of the features of this wonderful payware add-on. Externally, it is grand. Exceptional modelling and animations. 18 liveries are also included for free, which is nice. And the helicopter, depending on what livery you choose, comes with the option of floats as well, although I believe there are some bugs with starting this helicopter up on water. Now, internally, the cockpit will transport you somewhat back in time, at least if you ignore the conventional Garmin GPS unit, which will be down the bottom of your left or right knee, depending on where you're sitting. The instrument panel features an array of conventional gauges and controls, as well as some more unique instruments, such as the pitch indicator, which was actually seen as quite groundbreaking at the time, and that basically allows you to see, funnily enough, propeller pitch. And there's also winch controls, meaning if you so desire, you can operate a winch, although of course it is aesthetic only at this point. It would be cool if you could pick things up and drop people down, but sadly that's not possible with Microsoft Flight Simulator at the moment. But in my opinion, the true highlight here are the sounds. They are incredible. They were recorded from a real Alouette down in Portugal, and this evidently has paid off. They are absolutely awesome. From the blades slapping in the air when you go in for a turn at a slightly lower power setting than you probably should be at, or to the doors being opened mid-flight and hearing the difference there. The sounds are all very good. and effects as well are very nice. I said animations were great, but you'll notice when you come into land you'll blow dust or snow or whatever you're sort of sat on all around. So that's definitely a highlight as well. Now systems wise, it is a relatively simple aircraft. It does not take long to start up at all, and the manual included walks you all through it. The flight model, and I confess to never flying a helicopter in real life, let alone the Alouette 3, so do take my opinion with a pinch of salt, but from what I've heard and flown around myself, it is pretty good. Now a minor complaint to some is that the Vortex ring state has not been modelled, and while it doesn't bother me because I'm not a massive helicopter geek, it may be bothersome to a few of you. Now for a lot of you, I'm sure you're wondering what Vortex ring state is, or VRS for short, and trust me, I didn't know until a few weeks ago, but it basically is a dangerous scenario where the rotors get engulfed by a vortex the helicopter itself has created, and because of that it does result in a massive loss of lift. It's a very dangerous state and normally happens when a helicopter leaves ground effect. So that hasn't been modelled, but I'm sure it will be added in the future. That aside, the flight model remains challenging. It's certainly unique, and that does mean you will have to put some practice into this unique helicopter, which in my opinion is just a testament to how well the developer has done. I think I've covered most of the points there. There are a few bugs, as I said. There seems to be some issues with starting up on water, but the developer seems to be very hot on these things, so hopefully we'll see these all fixed soon. All in all, it is a close to perfect helicopter. I believe the biggest bugs, as I said, are to do with taking off from water, and of course flight model could also see some improvements, but as we've seen with the anti-torque or rudder pedals, they've already been powered up a bit to match up to real life. I would say if you're into helicopters, you will simply love this. It is superb. If you're more like me and not naturally obsessed with helicopters, then even so, this is a great first helicopter to pick up if you're looking to enter a very different world of flying. For £25 UK, I do recommend it. That's not too expensive, and it is a very different type of flying. And on that note, a big thanks to the developer and indeed you guys for watching this video. If you'd like to join me over at FS Expo this year, the biggest flight sim event of the year, please do check out my video on that. You can use code PilotStud to get 10% off. But on that note guys, I'll see you around. Bye bye.